What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Hurt Business Podcast. My name is Ferris Sharari, and I'm joined today by my brethren, the boy, the myth, the real Badman.
Looking a little rough today. Haven't shaved.
Where the barber been, bro? He's not in the city?
Bro, he took an early vacation, bro.
Yeah.
He's going for the month, bro. He's going for the month, bro. I got a little vacation coming up, so I need a barber. Anybody got a barber in Boston you trust? Let me know.
Yeah, hit Josh up. Did he run that vacation by you? A month is crazy.
Bro, he's gone, bro. I mean, he's probably just taking time off with his family.
You're a barber.
No, it's December. It's December. People be taking time off, but yeah, you're right. You're a barber, bro. Like, you're an essential worker, bro. You need to be out here serving the people, bro.
Especially during this holiday season. Like, you might be the most essential.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, not bad on your barber, bro. Yeah, also having a bad hair week. That's why I'm rolling with the hat today. So we're just looking rough, and that's all right. We still getting these
punches, man.
Still getting these pods out, and today we have a lot of topics to discuss. Starting with Jamahal Hill and Alex Pereira, that PI incident. Get some of our thoughts on that. The UFC 311 main event, whole card, I'm pretty sure just got announced. So we'll talk that a little bit, and then of course UFC 310 this weekend. So picks, storylines, predictions on that. So yeah, Josh, opening up, Jamahal Hill, Alex Pereira had a run-in at the UFC PI. It seemed cordial at the beginning, but then apparently, according to Jamahal Hill, Alex's team said something about Jamahal still being sleeping or still taking a nap, and that kind of turned things around. And Alex then offers up Jamahal some gloves, invites him into the ring or the octagon, said, "Let's just run it." And then, of course, Jamahal follows with the for free. And then does a few spins, and then the video ends. What did you make of that whole interaction?
Yeah, I thought it was just really stupid. It's very clear, like, Jamahal caught Alex in there. You know, cameras are shooting. He knew that this would go online. He knew this would go viral. So he was just fucking making a mockery of himself. I mean, you look at the footage, it says one thing, right? It looks like Jamahal Hill wants no problems, but at the same time, he's kind of in his face. And then you look at what he says after the fact on a podcast where he's talking about how, like, this guy didn't want to fight, and he was saying all this stuff like, I'm going to handle business, and, you know, don't go to heavyweights, like, stay at light heavyweight so I can handle my business, and then I can knock you out after. Like, bro, the footage was complete opposite of what he was saying on the podcast. Like, it couldn't be any more opposite of what was happening. So it's just like, bro, like, in 4K, like, people are recording you literally, like, you're literally not wanting to fight this guy. And then you're saying on the podcast, oh, this, that, and the fourth, how, like, I don't want to lose a deal with the UFC. I don't want to create problems. Like, we're going to fight again. And I don't want to ruin that with, like, an unnecessary scrap. But then, like, bro, the camera footage says something completely different. Like, it looked like you wanted to fight, but then you kind of backed off. So maybe there's some truth to that, but he also was just straight out lying, bro. Like, you look so ridiculous. And you're just lying.
Almost want to ask Jamahal, you know, these cameras like record audio too, right? It's not just a visual camera. We can hear what you were saying to him in that situation.
And it was polar opposite to what was going on in that footage, what he was saying on the pod.
Yeah. I will give him a little bit credit, Jamahal, a little bit of credit, though, because it does make, like, the rematch a little bit interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like, the fight ended in such a dominant way. Like, Jamahal tried to play the whole, like, he wasn't ready. He was waiting for Herb to do whatever. He needed a secondary, whatever the fuck he was trying to say after the fight. But then now they have this little interaction.
You know what they say before they start the fight, bro. Protect yourself at all times. I don't believe any of that.
100%. No, I agree with you. I didn't like Jamahal taking that angle post-fight, but I'm just saying, like, with that being the result, it being so one-sided, clear that Alex was the better fighter that night, at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't have much to build on for a rematch. Now, with this incident, they kind of have a little bit of a storyline, you know what I'm saying, that they can kind of build off of. in addition
Yeah.
to their first fight and how it ended. To me, as perspective, as a what's the word for as a
As a viewer,
as a viewer,
spectator.
spectator. That's the word I was thinking of. As a spectator, it just makes it a little more interesting.
I don't know, man. I don't think I agree with that, man. Like, I don't think there's really incentive for Alex to fight Jamahal Hill again, just because if you look at the opponents that Alex Pereira is fighting, and you look at the ways he's finishing these guys, like, it almost seems like they shouldn't even belong in the octagon with him. And that's no shade to any of these guys. You know, Alex is just levels ahead of all these guys, and he's had this strong pedigree for years to come. But nonetheless, I just don't think that this fight specifically has any cause for a rematch, especially like from the fans' perspective. Like, I don't know, man. I think a lot of people are just like seeing right through Jamahal Hill these days, like with the delusion, and he's just so full of himself, and his ego is like bigger than his head. Like, dude, like, you got knocked out, bro. Like, there's no shame in that, bro. You got caught. It is what it is. Like, you need to defend yourself regardless of what happens in there. If there's a kick to the nuts or not, if there's an eye poke, you need to still have your hands up and defending yourself. Like, there's no excuse for that. Like, you had your hands down, you weren't expecting it, but shit happens. Like, you got to own up to that and accept it. But he's kind of using that as his reason for a rematch, and it's just kind of like, it comes off as just like, so like, I don't know, man. It's just not the right way to go about it, I feel like. And I feel like he's losing his supporters from that. Like, if you look at his comment section, man, it's just nuts, bro. Like, his comments are all like, bro, you still sleeping? You still sleeping? Like, bro's in La La Land, bro is delusional. Like, I don't know. I feel like at this point, he's kind of lost a good majority of the fans that supported him. But then you have a point too. He did get caught, and the fight lasted like 30 seconds. So, I mean, there is some cause for rematch there. So, it's in the air, right? But
yeah, honestly, I don't disagree with your counter argument. If I'm being honest, I think that the reaction to Jamahal post fight, it left a sour taste in all our mouths. Like, just say you got caught and just move on. You know what I'm saying?
he
Fight
won't
Gary,
accept. Yeah,
win that, build up, and just come back. Like, you don't need to do all these excuses. It's kind of like, nah, I'm not even gonna compare it. Forget that. Yeah, it just sucks to see. And yeah, especially he has a fight coming up in January against Yuri Prochazka. Hopefully this doesn't, like, you know, distract him and get his eye off the ball, and he goes on like a two-week bender on Twitter responding to everybody who talks shit, and, you know, just enters a dark space. But I mean, Alex handled this situation flawlessly. Like, the dude hands it, like, he just gives him a pair of gloves, like, bro, we can settle this. Like, no money. We don't need the millions and millions and millions of dollars. Like, just come here.
I'll knock you out right here, bro.
Right here with 18-ounce gloves just for fun.
Which I don't think Alex would actually hurt him in there. I think he would actually I think he would make a mockery of Jamahal Hill in there just for the fact that, like, he doesn't even need to hurt him, and this is kind of pointless. Like, people are gonna watch this and find it hilarious that they're even in the octagon fighting each other, but it just makes Jamahal Hill look so stupid. Like, Alex is so good at baiting people, it's hilarious. Like, and Jamahal Hill he doesn't see it. Like, he doesn't understand. Like, dude, you're getting baited into all this stuff, and it's only making you look worse the more you kind of like entertain it. And yeah, honestly, I don't know. He's not making a good case for himself, man. I'm gonna be honest. Like, what if Yuri knocks him out? Then it's like, what was all this for, bro? Like, then you're really in a bad position where people don't even care about you anymore. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
He's got to win this fight against Yuri, man. With all that shit he's talking.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, I almost respect him for going for Yuri off rip and taking, like, not necessarily a tune-up, but just a fight to kind of, you know, get the cobwebs off, get back into a rhythm, and then go for a Yuri. But he said, "Nah, I'm ready. I'm ready for the best guy." So respect. But Alex is him, man, and I'm sure Alex will still go up to heavyweight if the opportunity presented itself.
Absolutely, he would. Why would he fight Jamahal? Why would he fight Jamahal Hill when he can go fight a John Jones? or Tom Aspinall.
All right, that's enough on Jamahal Hill and Alex Pereira and that whole fiasco. Did you see the UFC 311 announcements that got dropped today?
Crazy. It was exactly what we talked about last podcast too. We knew these fights were going to be the ones that happened. Merab's getting in there with Umar, man. It's official, man. That's crazy.
They kind of doing Merab a little greasy, no?
No.
Off rip.
Nah.
Off rip.
What's he gonna fight? Sean O'Malley again after he just destroyed him?
Can I tell you what I really think?
Go ahead.
I think it's a combination of Ramadan happening early in 2025, and they got to get Umar in before Ramadan happens. Absolutely. But also, like, what's his name? Sean O'Malley just is coming off of surgery, which means he needs time to recover, which means he won't be ready till second half of 2025. So timing wise, this is setting up to whichever champion wins on the night, January 18th. The winner's fighting Sean in like 6 months after, like no matter what.
You mean Sean's fighting the winner?
No. I mean, the winner is fighting Sean.
Stop it. Bro, Sean is fighting the winner, bro.
Sean is the championship fight. That's the cash cow. That's the red panty night.
There we go.
No?
I don't see no belt wrapped around his waist right now.
True.
I think Sean's fighting the winner.
He 100% is. But Sean is the red panty night, not the winner. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean, but like, still, man, it's like, is he deserving after that loss?
You tell me.
Nah. I say he fights Corey Sandhagen, bro. Just like I said, and I think they're gonna try to set that up.
I'm not opposed to
that. I believe it.
I would love that fight, like a main event, like that would be that's such a big fight. Co-main
that
event,
would be
pay-per-view, like a
crazy comeback fight.
Yeah. Sean O'Malley's a pay-per-view guy. Like, I feel like they're holding. They know we want this fight. They know that this is the fight that excites us a lot. I feel like they're waiting till Sean fights the winner of this and hoping he wins and then defends against Corey 2026 if Corey's still performing well.
Yeah, and the thing is, Sean's a good company man. Like, he'll fight Corey Sandhagen. He gave Chito Vera another shot too. Well, I can't even really say that because Chito technically won, but you know, he's a company guy. I feel like he would do a comeback fight Corey Sandhagen. You know, if both of them are healthy, then that would be a great fight. I think that's probably what they're going to set up.
Yeah, for sure, it's a great fight, bro. That's two strikers, like elite strikers in the division, two of the best within the class, like going at it. That obviously makes for exciting fights, but does it happen? I don't know. And I also remember leaving Corey versus Rob fight, just thinking like Corey can make fights so fucking boring if he wanted to. No. Like, what if he decides to wrestle Sean O'Malley? Like, think about how much of a poopy stinky that can become. If he plays the smart fight, the strategic fight, you know, the full martial art bout instead of like kickboxing with Sean. That
one hurt, man. Corey Sandhagen's a very entertaining fighter.
I agree. I'm not like that, but that Rob fight. All right.
Anyway. Takes two to tango. That's all I'm gonna say. But
yeah, Umar versus
I think
Merab.
Two of them. I think both of them will be ready to tango if that fight happens.
Agreed. Yeah, hopefully that fight happens. But back to the fight we actually have on paper scheduled program. Umar Merab. Stylistically, do you have an early prediction? I for sure see this fight going one way.
I think I might be leaning towards Umar on this one, if I'm being honest with you. Merab's got some good wrestling, but Umar's just at another level, bro. He's just on another stratosphere when it comes to the wrestling. He may not be as sharp on the feet as Merab, but that doesn't matter when you're Umar and you can just wrestle fucking for 5 rounds and win, potentially get a submission. Yeah, I think that's not even really an early prediction. I think that's really just my prediction overall. I think I'm I'm just going with Umar, like now and later. So
Yeah, I kind of agree with it, to be honest. I think Umar is just a fucking killer, bro. Finisher, and Merab gets
yeah,
hurt in like almost every one of his fights. And you don't want to be hurt standing across from Umar, but Merab is the machine, bro, and he can put quite the pace on guys. So like that fight is gonna be sweet, nonetheless.
yeah,
Quick
very good
turn,
fight.
quick turnaround for the champ, though. I think they're doing him a little greasy. They should have gave him a little bit of a championship parade and let him soak up the belt a little more. They did this with Aljo, so I wonder if they just hate that camp or trying to, get these guys out of the top spot or whatever the case
Did they do
is.
that to Aljo?
Bro, Aljo, I feel like won the championship in like a weird fashion.
He definitely did.
But then, like, once he came back from like the surgery and the recovery and all that, he fought like boom, 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 like so fast. He beat the first one was Henry, right? That was the first defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then like 3 months later, they wanted him to. Oh, and then he fought what's his name? TJ. TJ was hurt with the shoulder. That was a stinky. And then they made him fight Sean O'Malley like 2 days later.
Yeah, that was pretty. It was pretty rough. A pretty rough title reign for the boy.
Yeah. So point being that, like, I don't know if the UFC is just like anti these that camp getting belts, but it's definitely a reoccurring thing. And yeah, another thing that I noticed is why are they announcing these fights like just over a month out? Shouldn't we have just shouldn't we have a little bit more time knowing like just build some excitement? No?
Yeah, I mean, you know how they do it at the end of the year. They just always have like the crazy announcements with the following year to come. So I mean,
fair, but like this is in a month.
Yeah, I know.
Like we need a little bit more time, but I mean, I'm excited still to know. We also had like an idea that these fights were on the horizon, like January, February. We just didn't know how it was going to unfold.
Yeah.
DDP, was he in the mix at all? But Islam, Arman, the fight you've been talking about on the pod for years and years and years since we've been doing this almost. How do you feel it finally coming to fruition once again?
Yeah, I feel like this is definitely the most appropriate fight for this division, in my opinion. We know that we had Volkanovski kind of come up from featherweight and fight and ultimately got knocked out by Islam, and that was a tough loss for him. But, he was coming from a different division. So now that was a little bit of a weirder fight. I didn't see any point in Volkanovski moving up. Like, yeah, he was always like a bigger dude, so it makes sense for him to naturally move up in weight, but I just don't think that it was a very good matchup for him to begin with. Like, he's just such a much smaller guy in scale, right? In scale, he's a much smaller guy. He has fought Max Holloway, which he beat 3 times. But Islam is just another level of huge. Like, he's like much bigger than him. He's much more stronger than him. Just because he's just there at the natural weight class he belongs in. But now this feels more appropriate, right? This feels like a more appropriate and a real challenge, I feel like, for Islam. Like, this is a tough fight for him.
Yeah.
No matter what way you look at it. You look at the first fight, like, he was having a hard time wrestling with Arman. Like, Arman's very relentless. He's very fucking strong in there. His ground and pound is just elite. Just a tough fighter overall. And I feel like that fight could have been so much more, but Arman was just so young and inexperienced with dealing. He basically fought a champion before he was the champion. Like, he fought the best guy in the division so early in his UFC career. And people knew that at the time too, but just a tough fight to be dealing with early on in your career. Now he's got so much experience under his belt since that last fight. I'm so excited for this one. This one's going to be so good to watch.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we get 5 rounds of it.
Yeah, agreed. It has all the makings for a banger. I'm not even going to ask for your prediction. I'm not even going to provide a prediction. I think this just
save that. Yeah,
you got to find out in a few weeks. But like, Arman presents every test that a lot of guys don't present, and he brings it in every facet, and he's an all-around martial artist. So it's going to be really exciting to see that style match up against an Islam in 2025.
2025.
What a night it could be for them Daggy guys, though. They got the co-main event, both challenging for championships, one defending, the other guy challenging. It could be quite the night for Khabib as a coach.
Yeah, man. I'm excited, man. I'm so excited for that.
Speaking of quite the night, let's talk about this Saturday's UFC 310. Just bangers, man. What a fucking card this is. And to end the year wicked strong. And to think like we had the main event fall out. And I think as a result, maybe we have a way better co-main than we were getting before. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, what a card this is. All in all, before we talk about the main event and work our way down, what do you think of kind of the full card that we got in front of us?
I think this has potential to be the best card of the year. Just when you look at who's fighting who and the matchups, like this has the making to be the best card. And I hopefully it lives up to that, you know, with the names we have on the list. Hopefully it lives up to that. But yeah, this is a crazy stack card. Like from the prelims down or from the prelims up, it's just crazy the names we have on here. So definitely excited. I've been looking forward to this one, so I'm happy to talk about it now.
Yeah, agreed. I think this is a 10 out of 10 card. I mean, depending on how these fights play out, it could definitely be the the card of the year that we'll be talking about in a few weeks. So, yeah, bro, let's just jump right into the main event, bro. Alexandre Pantoja is looking to defend his flyweight strap against the UFC newcomer Kai Asakura, making his UFC debut. But like a guy who's no stranger to the fight game, bro, has like 25 professional fights and a champion and rising in China in multiple weight classes. He's fought in Manel Cape multiple times. I believe their record is 1-1. And just an experienced martial artist. And he's matching up against like Alexandre Pantoja, who's should be, in my opinion, in like the top 6 of the pound for pound list. I don't know how he's like 9 or 10, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
My boy, what do you make of Kai making his UFC debut against the champion, and then ultimately who do you think brings it home?
Yeah, I've never really watched Ryzen too much, so I'm not very familiar with Kai Asakura. I know he did fight Manel Cape over there, and he also fought Kyoji, who used to fight in the UFC a long time ago. Ultimately lost to these guys, so I don't know. I kind of look at this fight and I'm like why? Like, I know some people aren't gonna like that, but it's like, bro, why? Like, this guy, I get he's like a champion over there and he's a pretty big deal, but it's like, why does he just come over to the UFC? He just gets granted a title shot like out of nowhere. Like, most people have never even heard of this guy. And they're just like, who the fuck? Like, I mean, I didn't hear of him, so I was kind of shocked that this was Alexandre Pantoja's opponent, his next one at least. Like, it was kind of a shocker to me. But yeah, I'm familiar with his game. Definitely a good opponent, I feel like. Swift, you know, he's fast. He's got power. So he brings a lot to Alexandre Pantoja. But can he wrestle, bro? Can he grapple? I don't think so, man. So we'll have to find out on Saturday, but I don't pay any stock into this guy coming in and just knocking Alexandre Pantoja out, which is what a lot of people are probably thinking is going to happen. But I don't really see that happening, man. I think that there's a different level of what those guys do over there and what these guys do over in the UFC. And I fully believe that these guys over the UFC are the better mixed martial artists overall. So, in my opinion, from his game, you know, I think he's really just has a puncher's chance in this fight. I don't really think he presents anything that's like out of this world for Alexandre Pantoja, at least. Like, he's seen some of the greatest mixed martial artists and he's beaten like all the best ones. Like, he's on top. Like you said, his rating is so underrated to me too. Like, he's such a good athlete, and I don't think this guy's just gonna come in and steal a belt, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not. I'm not buying into his stock, man. I don't know if you are, but I'm not. What are your thoughts? I'm not. I don't know, man. Your mic is not on, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy. What minute are we at?
Fuck, 42:50.
42:50. That's
I
crazy.
thought my shit was out, bro. I was like, bro, I
See, like,
cannot hear you,
nah,
gang.
my shit was definitely muted because I'd be coughing. I'm like, niggas don't want to hear me cough, but
Nah, I feel you. But yeah.
you said, yeah. I mean, I like this is purely based off ignorance of like not watching his rise and understanding his game as well as I do like a Pantoja or some of these other flyweights in the UFC. Like, I agree with you. I don't know Kai as well enough as I do Pantoja, and that leads me to say that there's no chance that he has to be in a guy like Pantoja in 2024 who like you look at Pantoja's body at work, this guy is so elite, bro. And like he's one of the guys who you wouldn't even know about unless like you really watch the sport. And he's one of the people who when guys come up to me, they're like, oh, like what fighters do you recommend? Like you mentioned Alex Pantoja and you send them home to go watch some of his fights, they'll come back to you like that's the guy. Like this guy's like how didn't I know about him? He's so exciting and he doesn't get a pull, but that's
elite, bro.
yeah, he's elite of the elite. So I agree with you, bro. I don't know if Pantoja can be beat as of right now. I don't see it being from a UFC newcomer.
I don't know what Dana saw. I mean, maybe this looks like it's. I mean, in my opinion, this just looks like a money fight for Dana to kind of have a clash of two champions from two different sports in their respective sport. Fighting each other, and I don't think Dana even believes this guy will beat Pantoja either. So this literally looks like, I don't know, this looks like a big cash grab for the UFC. And it definitely brings new eyes to the sport too from, the guys over in Japan, which I'm sure at this point they know about UFC, and, they've had plenty of fighters come over from Japan and fight in the UFC, and, I'm sure they're very aware of it, but, yeah, I just don't think this guy is going to come in and shock the world on Saturday and just take the belt and run off with it. I mean, and even in that sense, let's say he does, right? Like the guy lives in Japan. He's not going to be able to defend the belt that often. He's going to keep flying back to the US to fight. Like when is it often that Dana has fights in Japan, right? When is it often?
Money talks, bro.
Money does talk.
If this guy wins, Dana is to Japan in 2024 at 5.
I don't believe that, bro.
Like if they got a champion from there, bro, they'll be over there like this, bro. Like Japan is such a massive market, and if they have a star, as of right now, before he entered the UFC, they really didn't have anything.
They didn't. Japan doesn't have anything.
Exactly. So now they get a champion. Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
Dana is there next year, like no question. Dana's all over it.
Yeah,
and then
he's going to
Spain the next weekend.
No, I definitely think that Dana was licking his chops when he seen this guy. Like, damn, we have a chance at basically speed running this guy to a championship, and we can have a Japanese champion in the UFC. But it just looks so unauthentic, bro. Like this guy comes in. Let's say he wins by some miracle, which I think is a miracle if this guy wins. His only chance, in my opinion, from what I've seen him do in Ryzen, this guy, I don't think he's gonna last in there with Pantoja. When Pantoja gets his hands on him, it's over, in my opinion. I think that Dana is hoping this guy potentially knocks him out, and then he gets a Japanese champion. And like you said, there's some incentive to go to Japan and host a fight there, or go to Spain and and have them fight again someday. But I don't know. I think this will be a one and done thing. I think he's going to get ragdolled in there. He's going to be made a mockery of, and they're going to send him back to Japan, to be honest with you.
Damn. See, I'd like to believe he's world class. Like if they're giving him a championship fight in his first UFC bout, I definitely think he got to be one of them ones. So I think if he loses this, he's definitely going to remain in this top 5 and like, you know, fight another contender, say Royval, Moreno, somebody who's already fought Pantoja. That's who you give him next. But yeah, I agree. Once Pantoja starts mixing in all the facets of the grappling and the wrestling and the jiu-jitsu and the striking and just going in between, it's going to be a tough night for.
It's over. Pantoja is no question the best guy in that division.
Yeah.
He's better than everybody in every single fucking facet. Like, he is better than everybody in every category. So, like, I don't know. He's got to really come with some game, man, if he's going to try to win this fight. And I don't know.
I'd almost say, I don't know if he's the best in every facet in the whole division, but I'd almost say he puts it together the best out of everybody.
And that's what matters. That's ultimately what matters in the end of the day. Because if you can't put a full mixed martial arts display on every time you step in there, then it doesn't matter if you're the best striker in the division. Yeah. You can't wrestle. This guy can.
Yeah, agreed. All right. I think that's enough on the main event. We both got a pair of Pantoja picks.
It looks like we're both going Kai, so
you thought. This one I'm wicked interested to kind of hear your thoughts on and see where you ultimately go with your pick. The original main event to this was Shavkat getting a championship match against my boy Bully B, which I'm pretty sure I've said it on the podcast many times that it was almost God answered prayers for me and not giving Bilal Shavkat so fast, you know. Just give him some time, let him enjoy the kind of like the Merab thing we were talking about a little bit ago. Just like a guy wins a championship for the first time. Let's not rush him in. Like, he won 3 months ago. Give him time.
You're buying time for this guy, bro.
And then you give him a shark like Shavkat was fucking crazy. Like, if you're gonna do that, give him a legend. Give him Kamaru.
Stop it. He's the champion. He's the champion. He needs to be fighting the best guys. Stop it.
Bro, I'm just telling you what it is. And then that fight fell out, which it was like, thank you. You know what I'm saying?
I know you were happy as hell that day, knowing your guy got bailed out. I know you was happy, man.
I was doing one of these, bro. I was fucking thrilled. But I think as of a result, it made for a fucking awesome fight. Like, now, because Bilal got hurt, now we get Ian versus Shavkat. And that's a fucking banger. And I'm very excited to hear what you got to say about this one. So I'll pass the reins, my boy. Who do you got, and how do you think it plays out?
I mean, it's crazy, man. This is honestly a better fight, in my opinion. Like, no shade, no shame to Bilal. Like, he would have. I'm sure he would have had a good fight against either of these guys. But this was such a fucking layup for Ian Garry. Like, how do you not take this fight? Like, he's such a good dude for taking this fight. I know a lot of people. He's a pretty hot topic. Maybe not these days, but he was a pretty hot topic in recent history with him online and stuff like that, and stuff he's been getting involved in. Completely irrelevant, but kind of a hot topic. So it's nice to see his name back in the mix. And yeah, like I said, man, what an opportunity for him to get a title shot, essentially. Like, this fight is like, these two are definitely, whoever wins this is fighting for the title. I mean, obviously, but is Ian the number 2 guy in the division? We'll find out, man. We'll literally find out Saturday. So yeah, like I said, two fucking, oh my God, man, 2 scrappers, man, going at it. Similar stature and size. I think Shavkat might be the shorter guy by a couple inches, but he's got a longer wingspan than Ian Garry, which is very rare to see in the welterweights, man. Ian Garry's a longer guy, and I'm pretty sure Neil Magny is probably one of the longest guys in there, if I'm not mistaken. But Ian Garry is like known for being like the longer guy in there for majority of his fights, and he's got to run for his money now, man. He's it's going to be a difficult one, not having to rely on playing the distance game when you've got a guy like this who's going to essentially bum rush you and not even a reckless like bulldozer. Like Rakhmonov is such a calculated fighter, and he's so good. He's just so good in there. It's so fun watching every single one of his fights, man. Like he's like so flawless the way he fights. Like I watch him, and I'm not no fucking expert in mixed martial arts. I've been watching the sport for a long time, but the way he fights in there, man, it's like he doesn't even make a mistake most of the times in there, man. Like he's very straight to the point. He's in your face. He'll either knock you out or he's gonna grapple you. And these guys can't grapple with him. Like we seen what happened to Jeff Neal. We seen what happened to Magny. Like
Glazing?
This guy. I'm glazing him? Is that what you said? Is that what you said?
No. He's nice, bro. He's nice.
Bro, he in my opinion, he's a flawless fighter, man. He can really do everything, bro. Like he does everything well, man. And then you have Ian Garry, which they've equally fought. Like I feel like their competition has pretty been, head to head. Like they fought in pretty equal competition. Michael Venom Page, he was a good mixed martial artist. Maybe not ready for Rakhmonov at that time, but and then obviously he fought Jeff Neal Magny, Rodriguez. Like these are good opponents, like for Rakhmonov. But and then Ian Garry too, man. He's fought these guys too, man, and he's dismantled them too, bro. So they fought in similar guys, and they finish, and he's finishing them too. So it's like it's hard to kind of base their experience up against each other. I feel like they pretty much fought the same guys and they finished them as well. So, but predictions, man, it's a tough one, man. And my decision, like who I thought was going to win, I feel like was purely. I tried to not be biased because I do like Ian Garry a lot. I really do like him. But I feel like he might knock him out, bro. I don't know. Something is telling me he might knock Rakhmonov out, man. And I got money on it, bro.
You betting
I got money on it too, man. I know you're probably shocked by that one, man. Yeah. But Ian is just so fucking good, dude. He's so good, man. And Rakhmonov's good too, but Ian can really knock these guys out on the feet if he wants to, man. And he might not be the longer guy in reach, but dude, the way he's able to close the distance, man, and finish these guys on the fence. I don't know if he'll do Rakhmonov like that, but I feel like he might catch him like while Rakhmonov's coming in, bro. Like maybe for a takedown, he might catch him with something, man. Maybe an uppercut, a check hook, or something, man. I feel like it's gonna be I feel like it might be one of those, man. And just because I feel like Ian Garry is always looking for the knockout for the most part. Some of these fights he has played a little safe, but I don't know, man. If he has a perfect night, I feel like he'll get the best of Rakhmonov. But like I said, Rakhmonov, it's so hard for him to like make a mistake in there sometimes. So I feel like this one was purely biased, bro, because he's Irish. And
So you're locking that in, like you fully think Ian by KO?
I'm locking this one in for Ian KO, man. This is don't take my pick too serious, man. Yeah, Ian might get destroyed in there, and that very much well could happen. But I think a KO is coming, man. I feel like he has the power to chin Rakhmonov. I feel like he does.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's definitely a possibility. It would, like you said, I agree with the point that it would require a perfect night of Ian in order to secure a victory by KO against Shavkat. Yeah, maybe when Shavkat's trying to mix in the grappling, trying to get creative, maybe he gets hit with a bing, bing, bong. It's possible. It's possible. I almost, like, if it was a 3-round fight, I would favor Ian. because Ian is a lot more calculated and like strategic approach to fighting, where it feels like Shavkat like is not a bull guy. Like I'm just gonna march forward, but I'm gonna kill you the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just gonna dominate you. You give me your neck, I'm gonna snatch it and choke you out unconscious on the feet, on the ground. If we stand up, I'm gonna brutalize you until I get the KO. Like he's a finisher.
Yeah. He is a finisher at heart. Yeah.
If it was 3 rounds, I would favor Ian by decision. But the fact that is 5 rounds, I'm gonna flip the script. I'm going Shavkat by KO. And I think
Shavkat by KO. Okay.
I respectfully, I think Ian's gonna get hit with some shit. I don't know if he's gonna go limp or nothing like that. I don't think he's going a full Bryce Mitchell, but I think it could be like a he's hurt, dropped, finished by strikes because he's tired at the end of round 5. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be one of that's how I see it playing out. You know? And
yeah.
Not to mention, and I hate that this became a whole storyline this week with them training together. And when they trained together, Shavkat apparently got Ian by submission a few times. You know what I'm saying? And that feels to be like the popular pick this week is Shavkat by KO, which is, you know, it's a good pick. It's a possibility. He's a finisher one way or the other, but yeah. I think Ian is calculated and he might get caught on the feet and it might get finished on the ground.
Yeah, I feel like I agree with that. It definitely is the topic of the week that, you know, Shavkat, he can essentially win this fight any way he wants. Like he can submit Ian Garry, you know, he can finish him on the feet. And for Ian, it really is his best route is to finish Shavkat on the feet as well. But I don't know. I think people aren't giving Ian much of a chance. And I don't know. I see a little bit more in Ian than I think what people are not seeing. The thing is, like with Shavkat, is he has no fucking head movement. That's the only thing with his game. And that's part of the reason why I'm like, okay, Ian's going to have a fucking time of his life in there. But if he's hitting him and Rakhmonov's still moving forward, then it'll be a tough night for him because Rakhmonov's going to get the takedown either way. He's going to get him on the fence. And then, you know, it's just really, it's up to Ian on what, is he going to show up and grapple that night? You know, is he going to get ragdolled? So it's a tough one, but dude, I think he might chin him, man. I think he might chin him. Something is just telling me he's going to fucking knock this guy out. So
yeah, it's
nice to see you're going the opposite way too. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking about it a lot all week though, because I do respect it and kind of grew in fandom for Ian because he accepted this fight. Because it's like
100%.
It's like Shavkat has been ran from. Nobody's wanted to fight him until he's earned a title shot. And then the title shot falls out. So he's already earned his right for the belt. Like he doesn't need to fight. And Ian has a fight already scheduled. And he's like, Buckley can fight somebody else. Which, yeah, I love Ian for that. But also, can we talk about Colby Covington for a second? Like Ian made a million videos calling him out. And like I'm not even an Ian guy. Like, you know, like Ian, I wouldn't get behind. I traditionally don't get behind him on the pod or in ever. But like he was calling Colby out. Colby made videos of him. It was like a back and forth. So it was exciting. And then Ian continued to call him out. And then Colby like disappeared. But then all of a sudden, Ian gets called up for the Shavkat fight. Buckley's free, and then Colby's like, "Yeah, all right,
yeah,
I'll come out the darkness, and I'll fight Buckley."
Yeah, it seemed
you didn't hear what Ian was saying the past 6 months.
Yeah, that was a little random. Him coming out of the dungeons in Miami out of nowhere to fight Buckley. But nonetheless, Buckley still got a good fight at the end of this. It wasn't a total loss for him. Yeah, he lost a fight with Ian, but he still gained a former champion. Well, yeah, a former champion, not technically, but
yeah, and honestly, like he went from a non-winnable fight to an absolute winnable fight, in my opinion. So like that, good on Buck. But yeah, man, Shavkat Ian co-main event. That's gonna be an absolute banger. Josh or I will be correct. And we both can't be right about this one.
Yeah.
Moving on, the French heavyweight Ciryl Gane's back. He's back, baby, in the rematch against Alexandre Volkov, the 6'6" heavyweight, who put on an awesome performance in his last one. Fucking jabbed Sergey's head off his shoulders.
Yeah.
What do you think, and who do you got?
Yeah, this fight was good the first time around. It was really good. Yeah, I don't think this is going to go any different for me, in my opinion. I think Ciryl Gane's still going to get the best of Volk.
Yeah.
Has Volk really improved since the last time he's fought?
What is Volk today? Is he?
That was 3 years ago they fought, man. You think Ciryl Gane hasn't improved in his grappling since? You think he hasn't improved in his wrestling since? Ciryl Gane has taken some crazy steps ever since he lost to John Jones. Really, ever since that fight where he lost to Jones, I feel like really finally flipped the switch in his head where he was like, all right, I really need to take this grappling serious. And he probably shouldn't have taken it so hard on the chin because it is John Jones. But for somebody who has never gotten finished like that fast in a fight, I feel like that is definitely demoralizing, and I feel like he definitely took it on the chin a little bit, which I feel like most people that fight John Jones, that's how they are. This fight between Ciryl and Volkanovski, that's crazy. This fight between Ciryl and Volk. This fight, I don't think it's going to go any other way, man. I think that Ciryl has taken leaps in his game since he fought John Jones. I'm excited honestly, I'm more excited to just see Ciryl Gane in their fight again. He's such an entertaining fighter. So I think this was honestly a great, opponent for him to come back to. And I'm going to steal what you said too, to dust off the cobwebs a little bit. This is a nice little bounce back fight for him. A guy he's familiar with, and a guy that can, challenge him a little bit on the feet. But I think we'll see, hopefully, a much more revolutionized and fresh Ciryl Gane than what we saw against John Jones, which was not a tough loss by any means, but
yeah,
it's like, John Jones, bro.
Yeah, that's the GOAT in most of our books, so you can't even hang your head on that. It was quick, so I get that angle, but all in all, that's the GOAT. But I agree, man. Cyryl's such a fun fighter. It's going to be a pure kickboxing match. I'm also going to go Ciryl. I agree with that pick. Honestly, one of my favorite things I think I'm going to hammer in terms of betting is the over in minutes. Like I don't know if I really see either one of these guys securing a finish. I got Ciryl in this. Cyryl's not a big power guy. You know what I'm saying? He's just going to put a pace, move around, hit you with a lot of shots, and dominate in that aspect. So I'm going Ciryl by decision.
He did hurt your boy, though, that one time.
He beat the shit out of my boy. But then, like Ty is just going to stand in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not gonna,
right.
He's not going to kickbox with you like a
Volkov's not going to do that, yeah.
Yeah.
Volkov's got a good chin, too. So, yeah, I think it'll definitely be a kickboxing clinic for Ciryl Gane. I think he might mix in a little bit of grappling in there, just to show the world that he's been working a little bit.
That would be entertaining. I would be quite thrilled to see that in display because, like, Volkov is the guy you display that against, right? He's not a
you want to limit his game. Like, this is what he's best at. Like, grapple him, and he basically can't really do much, but. Yeah, great fight. Excited for it. Excited to see Ciryl Gane fight again. I love Volkov too. Great fighter. But moving on, man. Bryce Mitchell versus Kron Gracie, man. I was not expecting this for a number of reasons. Kron Gracie, who lost his last fight, and they threw him at Bryce Mitchell. Like, I was scratching my head a little bit on that one. I was like, I don't know about that, but Bryce Mitchell is probably the bigger surprise for me seeing him in the octagon, just because we all know what happened to him, man, against Josh Emmett. That we were all pretty terrified with that one, which is so funny. It was literally a year ago at this time.
I literally just like I'm looking
Yeah.
at that now. It's crazy how that gets
That
already a
was a
year.
year ago, man. And it was well needed time off, man. Like he was knocked out cold. That was probably one of my favorite knockouts that year. I know we didn't do a podcast for that, but that was definitely making the top 5, bro. Like that was, oh my God, that was so nasty. So much needed time off, but he put the gloves down that fight, bro.
Mm,
That was crazy. He was like, I'm done after this. Like, I'm
mm.
not fighting anymore. Like, I want to save my brain. And nobody blamed him for that. But then he came back to fight Ron Gracie. Like, not that Kron Gracie's not like that's like he's part of a legendary family, but he's not like he ain't like one of the top Gracies. Like he ain't like, you know what I mean? He's not like one of those guys, but yeah, just a weird fight to bring him back into. But nonetheless, I don't know how I feel about Bryce Mitchell fighting again. I think that fight, that knockout was just too nasty, bro. Like I would probably retire after that one. Like
Technically, he did.
technically he did. But I'm saying I'm done for good after that one,
Yeah,
man.
fair.
I'm saving
Yeah.
my brain. But
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that, bro. At some point, you gotta. There's bigger things than fighting, but again, like if that's all you do your whole life, if that's like your whole identity, then it's tough
tough
to
to walk
just.
away.
Yeah, it's tough to just turn that away. But they gave him a grappler, which is nice. It's not
Yeah.
like a guy that is gonna knock your head off, but also like, yeah, Kron is comes from this great like jujitsu family, but also like. You ever see that fight with him and Cub Swabson? Like they were scrapping,
Yeah,
and
they
like
were banging.
so it's possible. It's possible that it could be a war, and yeah, Bryce Mitchell's also a black belt, I believe, or a really really skilled grappler. So I'm excited to see like
Yeah.
that and see how that gets tested against a guy like Kron. I don't really have a pick if I'm being honest. I'm just excited to see kind of
Yeah.
see the boy get back in there, Bryce Mitchell and Kron, after like kind of being inconsistent for the past few years.
Yeah. I think I would probably be leaning a little bit towards Bryce.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll get a finish, but I think he'll definitely get the win here just because, the activity and, he did take a year off, to kind of get himself right. So um, definitely a little bit of inactivity there. And, Kron just fought Charles Jourdain, which was like a really good fight, but he also took some damage in there too. So
that was like a shitty fight, honestly. I didn't love that fight. And Charles
yeah,
Jourdain is a striker too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it just for that reason, but and Kron didn't even really wrestle with him. Like he was just kind of fighting him on the feet. I was like, okay,
yeah,
maybe trying to pave a new way for the Gracies.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it ain't working.
Yeah. And it's interesting. He talked about like the pressure that it is representing like that family line and like people like always thinking that all he can do is jujitsu. So he's trying to prove to them that he can strike. And it's like, bro, like if it's what you do, just do what you do.
Yeah, there's no shame in that game.
That might be like the quote of my life, as stupid as it sounds. If it is what you do, just do what it do.
It's what you're good at.
Bro, Nate Landwehr, fan favorite. I absolutely love hearing this guy speak, watching him fight. He's back this weekend against Choi Doo-Hoy. What do you think? What do you got?
Yeah, I like Choi. He's a fun fight. He's coming out of Korea. But another guy who I just feel like is very inconsistent. Another guy who actually fought Charles Jourdain. He got knocked out in that fight too. But yeah, I mean, he's just weird, man. He's so inactive. Like I can, and it's hard because like when you're living in Korea, like you can't really get the fights you want, all the time, and so it feels like he's only ever fighting in like the Apex or nothing else. Like it seems like that's the only place he can fight at. But he is a fun fighter. I definitely think that this will be like a great opener for what's to come on this card because both of these dudes can scrap. So I think it'll be a fun one. But Choi, questionable chin on him. So I'm gonna lean towards Nate on this one, to be honest with you.
Every part of me is hoping for Nate to win just so he can get on the mic and talk his shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a cool dude, man. Definitely one of the OGs. And legend in the sport. So it'll be a fun fight regardless.
Hell yeah. All right, moving on, bro. The prelims and the early prelims are so stacked. So I feel like we got to talk about these fights, but we each should do it in like 15 seconds. Like, give me your prediction and why, and like I'll give you mine and we move on.
Yeah, there's just so many on here.
So many. All right, let's start at the top. Dom Reyes, Anthony Smith. What do you think and who do you got?
I'm going Reyes. I think Anthony's way past his prime. Reyes has also been on a kind of a tough streak, but he's been winning some fights. So, but I'm going with Reyes just for the obvious reason that he's younger and Smith is out of his prime. I'm leaning towards Reyes. Maybe a knockout.
Yeah, I agree. It's nice that Dominic Reyes is coming off a victory and not a brutal KO, so we can like it feels good picking him, and it is a favorable matchup.
Yeah,
I would agree. Anthony Smith is a little bit past the best of him, and I agree with the pick. Honestly, I'm going Dom Reyes as well. I hope he can look good on the feet, and then if he gets taken down or the wrestling gets tested, he can defend himself and produce some offense from some of those angles because nobody really takes him down. Everybody kills him from the feet.
100%.
All right. Vicente Luque, Themba Garambe. What do you think and who do you got?
I'm gonna go Vicente. I think I'm gonna go Vicente. Better grappler. Themba's good on the feet. He can definitely bang. He can strike. He had a great fight against Nico Price in his last fight. He had a good fight against Takashi Sato, but that AJ Fletcher fight was a little sketchy, and that submission kind of showed me everything I needed to know going against a Vicente Luque, who's just so skilled on the ground, but also so good on the feet too. So I feel like Vicente just has more in his belt to win this fight. So I'm gonna go Vicente.
Respect. Yeah, I think on Vicente's best night, he looks like an absolute elite welterweight, a title contending type of talent. But he's facing a guy in Themba who comes from the toughest part of the world and made it out of that space and now is thriving in the UFC. I like you I almost like can't root against that. I'm going Themba just because pure will and grit. And that's not to say Vicente doesn't come from anything. That guy, like I said, is an elite talent, but yeah, it's going to get dark in there, and I think Themba might see the light.
I agree, yeah.
All right. This fight absolutely should have been on the main card. It's crazy that it got lost this early prelims. But Mosfar Evolov's taking on former champ Aljamain Sterling. What do you think, and who do you got?
Yeah, I think you know who I'm going with this one, man. I'm 100% going with Mosfar.
Okay.
I think he's just so fucking elite on the ground. He's by far way better striker than Aljamain Sterling. He's not the best striker by any means, but he's definitely better than Aljamain Sterling on the feet. So, and for a guy who can stand toe to toe with Arnold Allen for 3 rounds, I know it was a questionable decision to go with Mosfar. I feel like he kind of had the better fight, but nonetheless, he still went 3 with him on the feet. So I'm definitely going Mosfar. No question about it.
Yeah. Honestly, I agree. The dude's undefeated, elite. I'm almost really excited to see somebody fight Aljo and welcome the ground game, not like run away from it and avoid it at all costs. Like say, like, you think you're good? Come here, buddy. I'll show you what to do. So I'm excited for that aspect. But yeah, I got Mosfar as well.
I do too, yeah.
Open up that middling card is New York / Jamaica's finest.
Oh boy,
the Rude Man, Randy Brown is fighting a guy I've been high on for since I seen him fight the first time. The Butcher, Brian Battle. Who you got, and what do you think?
Oh man, what is this? Is this 6 or 7 in a row for Randy now? He's just so fucking good, bro. Randy's just so good, man. But Brian's so good too, man. 2 guys, honestly, I feel like they met at the wrong part of the career, man. I feel like these guys could easily fight for a title one day. I'm gonna go Randy, man. I'm gonna go Randy. I think I'm going Randy by KO, man. I'm going Randy KO, man. And Randy hasn't had some KOs lately, but I think he's due, man. And if there's anybody he's going to knock out, I think it would be Brian Battle, who's a guy who's going to get in his face. You know, I want to say much more, man, but I'm going to just go Randy KO,
I think you
man.
should tell me why, though. I kind of want to hear it. Like, why?
Like I said, he's due. He's definitely due for a KO, and I just feel like Brian Battle at sometimes he's a little. I know he's knocking guys out too, and he's submitting guys too, but sometimes he's a little stationary for my liking, and Randy will capitalize on that. And I feel like Randy hasn't really had those opponents lately that are just really standing in front of him. He's really just had fucking 7 good clinics of jabbing people. But I feel like a knockout is coming on this one, man. And it could be Brian knocking Randy out, but I'm going with my boy Randy just because he's Jamaican and he's due for a knockout.
Respect, bro. Randy's definitely one of them ones. I think he's won 7 of his last 8. The only loss was to JDM, who's like a top 5 guy right now, or top 7 guy. And so that's definitely not a loss you hang your head on. But Brian Battles, like, if there's anything he showed us, is that dude can take some shots and bring that shit. And with that being said, I'm going Brian Battles, man. The rude boy. I hate that they gave him a non-ranked guy and that these guys are meeting at this stage, like you said. I wish they just waited for this one a little bit longer, gave Randy a top 15 guy, because he earned that right. But
definitely did. He's a company man, bro.
Yeah, he is. Brian Battles, dude, is a tough bastard, bro. That's not a guy that's definitely a top 10 guy in the future, 100%.
Yeah, and I agree.
It's tough for the bad man. So the rude boy. What is he? Rude boy?
The rude boy.
The rude boy. My fault. The rude boy. So I'm going Brian Battles in that aspect. But
that's fair.
What a card, bro. I think those two are elite. The early prelims are the early prelims. We don't got to talk about all of these matchups. Is there one or two or a match athlete that you're excited to see?
Yeah, I'm so pumped to see Chris Weidman back in there, man.
Yeah, bro.
So pumped about it, man. Yeah. I'm excited to see Michael Chiesa fight. Max Griffin's not a name I've seen too much lately. But I like Chiesa. I think he's a fun fight, Not a bad fight to have on that card. Chase Hooper too. I'm excited to see him fight Clay Guida.
It's crazy.
Honestly, it's just so funny to even see this fight, like 2 complete generations. Like Clay Guida is 2 generations ahead of this kid. And it's such a wild fight to see on paper, but I'm excited to see that one too. Just because of that gap and the age it's so funny to see on paper. 42 and 25.
Yeah,
crazy.
That is a crazy record. But like, what is this matchmaking? I was definitely confused by it. I'm
a little weird.
I think we're all a little bit high on Chase Hooper for some years, and now that he moved up, he just hasn't. He's never looked better than he has at 155. So
right, yeah,
right. All right. The only other matchup on these early prelims that I'm actually wicked excited for is that Cody Durden and Joshua Van. 2 scrappers, guys who are going to bring that shit on the feet and just stand in the middle and bang out. So I'm excited for that one for sure.
For sure, yeah.
But aside from that, bro, that's UFC 310. A lot we talked about in today's podcast. Anything else in the world of combat that you want to touch on before we get out of here?
I think that wraps it up, man. We got more to come for the rest of the year, but it's more on the boxing and UFC. Boxing is crazy. These next couple weeks, boxing is just going to be crazy at the end of the year. So I'm so excited to see those fights at the end of the year. So looking forward to that podcast and looking forward to 311 too.
Yeah, all that and our fight of the year, card of the year, our end of the year awards is also coming up end of December. So look forward to all that. Thank you if you made it to this part of the podcast. Josh and I greatly appreciate the support. Rate 5 stars, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get the pods. On YouTube, please like, subscribe, follow us on the IG, TikTok, Twitters. We got it linked somewhere below. And until next time, enjoy the fights in Free Palestine.